Are you excited about this upcoming season and making it your best year ever? Still not sure where to start with knowing your numbers and running a predictably profitable business? We want to introduce you to a brand new resource called the Know Your Numbers Profitability and Pricing Calculator, available exclusively at the Landtrepreneur Academy. We're here to help you understand how to recover your overhead, calculate your man-hour rate, price lawns correctly, budget a profitable margin, and so much more. You deserve to have the best information that you can to help you build your business and run it as profitably as possible. Get a handle on knowing your numbers today with the Profitability and Pricing Calculator, exclusively available at LawEntrepreneurAcademy.com. Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's up, guys? We are live on the same floor, the showroom floor here. Everybody's walking around having a good time, and we are honored to sit down with Malcom Miller from Landform Design Group. And Malcom, man, it's an honor to sit here and talk to you today. We just got to meet today, but I am so excited for this interview. The stuff that you've already heard, that you said on stage, talking about some of the projects you've done, talking on these other podcasts, it's insane. Some of the things you've accomplished in your business, in your life. And so I want to jump straight into the meat and potatoes. Bring whatever you got. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the business you've built.
Well, thank you, Jeremiah. I got invited here by Angelique after Sync Magazine wrote an article about our business. Mm-hmm. And I think Paul was asking me, well, how did you get involved with that? And I remember reading the publication, and I saw somewhere where they were asking, do you have a project to share? And I immediately thought, I have several that I could bring to their attention. But like you saw on the panel, Over Yonder Key was a private island project in the Bahamas that we were a part of, and it was multiple years of the design and build of it. And myself and some of my colleagues were a part of that project for years to come. And so I got a hold of Angelique and said, I think I got a story for you. And they wrote the story, and they also put us on the cover of one of their issues.
Yeah.
And that project, again, was Over Yonder Key in the Exuma, Bahamas. Just looking at it on the map, the waters are mesmerizing, and you can't not look at it just because it's such a beautiful...
Yeah, it's too pretty.
Too pretty. But we got involved with that around 2009 through some sort of contact, and I had been working throughout the Bahamas on other projects as well, and just through the coconut telegraph, as we'll say, I got asked to look at this project and kind of dove in from there.
So let's go back to the beginning, if you don't mind, or as far back as you want to go. But you're sitting here, you're talking about the Bahamas like it's nothing. Like, oh, we work in the Bahamas because you have, you've done it so much.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that's in our backyard.
But to the average listener, you're like, bro, it's the Bahamas. Like, what are you talking about? And so, how did you even start? You're from South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, so it's not that far from you.
No.
But I mean, how did you even start? Like, how did you even find a project in the Bahamas?
Well, before I started my own firm back in 2001. I worked for a large landscape architecture firm, EDSA, Edward D. Stone and Associates. Mm-hmm. And that was an international design firm. And so my time there, I got put on some projects that we were working on. One well-known project, Atlantis, over in Paradise Island.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So our office was the head planners of that project, and where I wasn't involved in the initial design part of team of it, I was asked to go back there and help. They had some small hurricanes that went through there and did a little bit of damage here and there, and At the time, I was the point man in the office for doing
Oh, wow.
hurricane restoration work. So I started doing work in Puerto Rico, a lot of work in Puerto Rico, down in the Virgin Islands, and British West Indies, Turks and Caicos, and Bahamas. And, it's our industry, it's kind of small in an overall global sense, but even in those areas, it's one of those things where, a lot of developers and builders will go and see what other properties and who was working on them. So I don't know. I got a phone call or through, like I said, the Coconut Telegraph, heard I was in the area, and they just asked me to come by and look at it. And I immediately became interested in the project, and basically they invited me to come look at it, and I left my travel bag in one of the rooms on purpose so I could come back.
Yeah.
And I was back probably that next week or week after, and we jumped in full time.
Wow. So how did you start your own company?
I was at that point where I decided, you know what, I was actually doing some moonlight work when I was working in the islands, and to keep me occupied at night, I would try to pick up smaller little side jobs just to keep supplementing, what I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
And my wife at the time had a great job, and we just bought our first house, and she's like, look, if you want to start your company, now's the time to do it before we start a family. So I evidently jumped ship and started my own little design firm and started hustling. And every time I would go to the islands to go have one meeting, I would make it a point to always come back with a contact and or hopefully a new prospect for a new project.
Wow.
I would drive around and just stop at job sites. I'd
Yeah.
hand out business cards. I'd knock on doors, and I'm not afraid to pick up the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And through persistence, just started getting asked to submit proposals and kind of went from there. I really had very little business development experience.
Yeah.
And other than doing what I do, I really knew nothing about starting your own company and keeping it going. But those are things you learn easy on as you do start out. And just through some connections with some architects and engineers, started to become available. And next thing you know, they start calling you to come help them out with work.
Yeah. So I want to jump in here in just a minute onto some of these projects that you've done and talk about some of the more detail-oriented things. But before that, you said you're not afraid to pick up the phone. You're not afraid to go out and hand out business cards.
Right.
Would you say that's a huge part in why you've grown your business to what it is today?
Well, it is, because establishing relationships and then understanding who the key components are to actually get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And, this was before websites were really, an easy thing to prepare and do. Our promotional packets were more of a handheld item, almost like a performer packet or whatnot. And I didn't have the funds to hire graphics people and publicists and whatnot to create that advertising. So, like I said, I picked up the phone and would call architects and let them know, hey, here's what I do. Here's my portfolio, and let's go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, with the internet and email and all that, that's made it more simple to kind of blast out, your portfolio and a firm profile of what you do. So I think through those connections and friendship connections, a lot of the work we have is repeat client work. And so I have architects I've been working with for 20-plus years.
Yeah, you may build those relationships early.
Yeah, for sure. And, every year I try to get one or two new ones to keep the demand up. And, it's been successful.
What's some advice you would give? So a lot of the guys listening to this show are lawn maintenance business owners. They're getting to some design stuff, some softscapes, things like that, smaller businesses. So they're trying to grow. Like spring is about to be here.
Sure.
I mean, you remember those days. Like spring rush is here. And so what's some advice, some tips you would give on, like you're saying, pick up the phone and calling people, or how would you recommend going about getting your name out there right now, this time of year? Like, don't be afraid to make that phone call. What is it?
Yeah, it's all about selling yourself and what you do. So, obviously, a lot of people revert to social media in advertising. A lot of people revert to the web. And I didn't have a website for many, many years because I couldn't afford to even hire somebody to put one together, let alone the time and the knowledge of constructing the body and putting in the aspects of trying to put that package together. And yeah, it works for a lot of people. Again, when I started out, I didn't advertise. I didn't put my name. Back in the day, we had phone books, not the internet. So I didn't advertise in the phone book. But I'd say to those guys that are out there, out in the field and whatnot, that's where I started. That's how I got passionate about what I do. And I think those guys that want to promote their business, it's knowing what you do and being able to put that in a form of media that you can send out for people to know who you are. And it back in my day, it was mailers or handing out packets of your company and what you do. So I would say to them, if you can, buddy up with somebody that does internet web design, does graphic design, because I didn't have the ability to put those graphics together, and so I relied on friends that I worked with in the past.
Yeah, you delegated that out.
Yeah, and so we would barter services, or just because I didn't have that budget in my business to do. But I would say, and our business is very competitive, just like other businesses. You gotta do something or have a niche that calls yourself out to be a little different than the other guy.
Yeah, you have to know what sets yourself apart, and you have to be able to relay that.
Yeah, I mean, in South Florida, landscaping is a huge business. It's year-round work. We don't have to deal with snow or winter activities, and it's very cutthroat. And the maintenance business, it's something that's required every single day.
Yeah.
And, it's like nursing or medical or other businesses. Even in this state of our country of being in a decline and possible recession, things like maintenance and further, it's going to continue no matter what. The grass is going to grow, the trees are going to grow. You're going to need to water it and fertilize it and take care of it. So it's having that catchy, phrase or just getting your name out there and trying to, spread the word on what you do.
Yeah, and that is the relaying, and that's the biggest thing that I think you need to take away, is because you have to not only know what sets you apart, but then also be able to tell the customer that. Because if the customer doesn't know that, then why would they choose you?
Exactly. What they don't know is they don't know.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Again, I put myself where I even have, I get business through word of mouth. And I'm the same way. If I need a plumber or handyman for something, I don't look in the phone book. I'll ask friends, like, who can you recommend?
Have you ever been in networking groups or anything like that?
I was involved in one early on, and it just wasn't for me because it was demanding.
Yeah.
And, the group needed a landscape architect, and my buddy was in one as a computer IT guy, so he introduced me in, and I was on the road a lot, and so
that's hard.
So I expressed, I said, look, I'm not going to be able to make every meeting. Yeah. I think it was once or twice a month that we would meet and be for several hours, and I just valued that time more into producing the work that I was producing. You can't get paid until you finish a job, so you gotta keep production going.
So let's hop into that. Let's talk job specifics here. You physically built an island in the Bahamas, a private island, correct?
Yeah.
What does that even look like? How does that even start? You were talking about reverse osmosis, not having drinking water, concrete not showing up.
First of all, it's the necessity of just being able to live there day in and day out. So we had to basically build a tiny city, so to speak. We had to bring in workers from all over, so we had to build a man camp, as it's called. We bought our housing trailers from some folks out of Louisiana, the Katrina trailers that were brought in to house those that lost their homes and whatnot during Hurricane Katrina. So we brought in a dozen housing trailers and even built some, makeshift shantytown type, accommodations. And we built a cafeteria to feed everyone. I had to bring in cooks. then we started mobilizing and bringing in equipment, heavy equipment, and start, moving rock and cutting this, and they had to build, generation systems at first.
So you're just working on a barren piece of ground in the middle of the...
I call it the rock because that's what it was.
Okay.
And shovels were not... you could not use a shovel at that time. You needed to dig holes with either backhoes or chipping hammers.
Yeah.
And so, just getting up and running was a challenge, and my past experience working on other island developments kind of helped me navigate that. And there was a lot of things we were self-taught as we went, and you learn a lot working on a project like that. And like I said, you almost wish for the next project because there's so many things that you would not do that you wish you would have known about. And as I say, every project there's a learning aspect to it, and you just try to apply that on the next go around. But it's tough and slow at first, and we called it Groundhog Day for a little while because it was, but it's one of those things that things finally started evolving. It started becoming I wouldn't call it a well-greased oil machine, but it did have its daily challenges.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the show today. We're going to hop right back into it in just a second, but I wanted to see if you're following us on Instagram. We're on Instagram at Growing Green Landscapes. All of our socials are that, but come on over to Instagram. We actually post daily polls on our Instagram stories where you just get to stay connected with each other and have a good time. We post polls on just random stuff, like whether to wear short sleeve or long sleeve shirts in the summer, whether it's a 2x4 or a 4x2 truck, all the things there. That's a little inside joke that if you're on Instagram, you would see and be a part of. So come check us out on Instagram at Growing Green Landscapes so you can catch up with us there when we're not on the podcast. But without any further ado, let's hop back into the show. Yeah, I mean, the challenges along the way. So you started with the rock.
Yeah.
You brought in your people. You brought in your workers. Was this a project that you were there like most of the time, or how did that?
Yeah, that project I spent 18 months. I say full time, but luckily the owner had a couple seaplanes out of Florida, so every Monday I'd go down. Me and some guys would go down, and every Friday or Saturday go home for a day or two.
How long was that flight? Like an hour?
It was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We would stop and clear customs in Chub Key, and then it'd be another hour from there. So it was about a 90-minute commute each way.
Did the workers stay there the whole time?
Yes. The majority of the workers were local Bahamians that would come in from other islands.
Okay.
I did mention a lot of them came from neighboring islands that we would go pick up in our boats.
Okay.
So we had staff boats running in the morning and the afternoon, running staff guys back.
Really? So they would just come for the day?
Yeah.
They would just come. Wow.
Yeah, because they'd go home at night.
Yeah, yeah.
And then other labor guys would basically come and stay as long as they were there.
That's crazy.
And so maybe they would go home every 3 months or something.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to have a ride home every week, and I had young children at the time, and I'd get home and be like, man, you guys grew while I was gone.
Yeah, yeah. You blew up overnight.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it was one of those projects that having my own business, it was the biggest one for me at the time. And I took it by the horns, and I said, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And, I'll never look back. It was very time-consuming, and I was away a lot of the time, but it was very rewarding in that aspect as well.
Yeah. So how did you get water? That's one of the basics.
We brought in the RO reverse osmosis machines, and like I said, I needed upwards of 10,000 gallons of water a day just to water my landscape, and that grew every week as we were planting more and more. But they were pouring concrete at the same time, and so we would have to fight over water. And we tried to collect as much water as we could, but a lot of times we didn't get any rain.
So does the concrete matter? Can it not be mixed with the ocean water?
No, yeah, you cannot have salt there because there's rebar in
so
steel into the concrete to help bind the concrete.
Yep.
So the salt would erode
it,
and it would,
So they were taking your drinking water for concrete.
They were.
That's insane.
Yeah, and there were times where I'd see rain clouds ahead, and I'd just pray for rain because rainwater was.
Y'all were collecting it, right?
we were collecting as much as we could,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't last long.
Yeah.
And the rainwater we tried to use for irrigation as much as possible because the reverse osmosis water had little to no nutrients in it.
Mm-hmm.
So other than just wetting the roots of the plant,
just to keep them alive.
just to keep them alive, and to supplement that with additives was also an expensive endeavor.
Yeah.
So, but I would see rain clouds and pray that it would come, and I don't know what it would be, but as soon as it got to where we were, the clouds would divide and go around us.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh, no rain.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I bet you got a good tan during that 18 months.
Oh, yeah. I always told people the way I'm going to go out of this world is either sun cancer or a plane crash.
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah.
And I've been pretty lucky. I just started going to a dermatologist a couple years ago, and my God, I was fortunate enough to not have too many things scraped off of me. So
yeah.
I do encourage sunscreen for everybody to use. And luckily, my neighbor, she was a rep for a very high-end sunscreen company. So I would come home on weekends, and she'd always hand me a bag of free sunscreen.
Oh,
so
there you go.
That was fortunate.
So y'all were just what part of the island were y'all doing? Like, were you physically working on? Were you building like the construction aspect of it, like the housing? What was on the island? Was it a house? Was it a
no? So the program of the island was a private owner out of the United States, and he wanted to build a couple villas for himself and his family. So we had 4 villas that were placed throughout the island that we sited on the island. Obviously, we needed to have staff housing, back of house. So back of house incorporated the renewable energy components of the wind generators and the solar panels. We did have a battery building that housed 475 batteries that the solar and the wind would charge up as it went. So the inverters would create the battery power into usable power that we would use to run the homes, run the water makers, and anything that required electricity. There was a marina that was built. In the marina building, we built a plane ramp for the seaplanes. We built some pavilions down by the beach that we built a resort pool with a tennis court and some volleyball, and some areas to house, to have dinners and whatnot, outdoor functions and
all this has like land. Y'all put in landscape as well.
Correct. So my job was to deal with a lot of the site grading for the roadways. We have 2.5 miles of road on this property, all done with concrete pavers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we were trying to come up with what would be a sustainable type material.
Yeah.
And I lost the battle on that. I found this product that was a permeable type product that they started, like the military used it, I believe, in the Middle East to build runways.
Mm-hmm.
And it would allow water to pass through it. And you could basically mix this polymer additive with like local lime rock, and it would become this hardened surface. Then you can kind of roll it to be whatever you want it to be. Well, we did some test strips, and I even had the rep come out, and we tried to use that for our road system, but we just couldn't get it to work, and why, I don't know, but it just didn't work out. So, but we did the grading for the site. I had hardscape crews putting in stone columns and veneers for all the walls, and we would go out in the bush and grab just native rock.
Really?
Like I said up in the discussion, we had to build a road up to the master villa, and for the grading to work for the road, we had to cut through a hill that exposed the side escarpments of this hilltop with limestone, and it just wasn't a very aesthetic look to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we actually went out in the bush and got native rock and applied it to the wall and mudded it to the wall, and it's like this beautiful natural stone rock wall.
Wow,
And
from the island.
From the island, yeah.
That makes it even better.
And like I said, there was wind turbine generators. Well, these 110-foot wind generators required a massive foundation, 30-foot diameter holes dug 20 feet deep.
Holy cow.
Just to support the base of these these tall wind generators. So we actually excavated the limestone while cutting those holes out, and I used those blocks to create retaining walls.
Mm-hmm.
We saw cut the limestone on site and created stone steps with them, stepping stones.
Yep.
So we tried to use some of these practices to.
You recycled a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, like I said, everything has to be shipped in.
Yeah.
There's a price for that.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
It's not cheap. You got to pay duty. You got to pay VAT tax. So it may cost $10 in the States, but you got 28% duty and another 12% VAT tax. That almost, and then you got to ship it.
Mm-hmm.
So that $10 item costs you $25 to $30 to get there.
And then you put that into hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Correct. Yeah, it adds up over
quickly,
time.
Yeah, quickly compounds.
Yeah. I did order a majority of the plant material out of Florida, but I also I went to other islands and tried to buy locally as well.
Mm-hmm.
We had workers on the island that either had friends or family that either had tree farms or other type of nurseries that I would go visit and try to buy locally within the Bahamas to alleviate, the duty and the VAT tax and whatnot.
Was this a project that, I mean, it's a private island for a dude, so I probably know the answer to this question, but, was budget really a problem, an issue? Like, were you having to stick within a budget? Because, this stuff...
We tried to be budget conscious, but to build something like that, you just got to keep an open checkbook.
Yeah, I mean...
Because it is what it is.
You never know what
you're
going to run into.
Yeah, and, I don't think I was ever given an overall budget or had to create one, but what I would do is be conscious of where we would spend our money in the right area.
Yeah.
The front door would be the plane ramp and the marina where people come in, the first introduced to the island. So we focused on building up those areas to be, it's like arriving at a new resort.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you step off the plane or off the boat, getting from there into your cart or golf cart to go to one of the villas, we tried to create that as an experience. So the marina and the first arrival was a huge aspect for us to make it, just welcoming as possible. The owner was he was into collecting antique firearms and ornament. So we had a few cannons brought to the property.
Oh, that's really cool.
And when I say he had these cannons restored.
We're excited to announce that the Launchpreneur Academy Live 2022 event replay is now available exclusively at launchpreneuracademy.com. I'm Mr. Producer, and if you were unable to make it to our annual live event in Novi, Michigan this past November, we've got you covered. Get instant access to the live speeches and keynotes from this amazing event and take in tons of knowledge and information from some of the biggest leaders and business owners in the green industry. Hear insights from Mark Bradley, Troy Claude, Paver Pete, James Mansky, and so many others. These 9 speeches are guaranteed to motivate, educate, and inspire you to elevate your game. Start listening now to the Launchpreneur Academy Live 2022 event replay at launchpreneuracademy.com, and we'll leave a link for you in the show description.
And
Like Civil War cannons?
Yeah, I mean, from, 200 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I created a cannon pad for the cannon, and the story was, well, this cannon is here to protect the island.
Yeah.
And so we actually had a company come out and create wayfinding signs and actually create a story on using all these items that would be, set into the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of signage for each of the villas, this company came up with using the sun and the moon and the wind. Those were the graphic identities for each of the homes.
Wow.
So when guests would come, there was different names for each of the villas.
Yeah, yeah. Are you staying in sun or moon? Or?
Exactly. Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Man.
So
too cool.
Yeah, and again, we tried to, if there was plant material that we could relocate that we knew we'd have to grade, the ground for, we would try to relocate, the native palms and whatnot on the land there. So.
How big is the island? How many acres?
77 acres.
Pretty big island.
It's pretty big. Yeah.
I mean, it's not massive, but that's still you got a lot of room to work on.
Yeah, like I said, we got over 2.5 miles of roadways on it, and I mentioned on the panel, we ended up after finishing the project, I think the owner's son wanted some golf action on the island, so he was friends with Ricky Fowler, and I think Ricky came in and helped lay out a little 9-hole par 3 course.
So there's a par 3 course on the island.
Yeah, and it's all synthetic turf.
No way.
The tee boxes, the greens, the fringes are all synthetic turf.
Holy
so we
cow.
found.
Did y'all do that?
I wasn't initially involved with the layout of it,
but
we did a lot of the grading, and like I said, we used a lot of the limestone block that we excavated out for the wind towers to use as retaining walls to build the greens to create a flat, playable surface.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the holes are really dramatic. You got a tee box out by the marina, and you're hitting over water.
Really?
To the green that's over on the mainland. I mean, the
that's
marina.
Insane.
So when they built the marina.
I love golf, so that's it. Really intrigues me.
Yeah, I was a golfer at one time.
Yeah. I'm not any good.
I'm a hacker. Yeah.
Yeah, I just enjoy doing it.
But I when I was in school, I first wanted to study golf course architecture, which I'm glad I never pigeonholed myself to do.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I've always followed it, and I love watching the pros play. So I was pretty excited when they decided to build this golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'd never seen a synthetic turf, golf course.
Yeah, no, I've never heard of that before.
And again, I think the thought was, we'll try to find some recycled synthetic turf to use, select the right material, and that way we didn't have to use extra water to water it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't.
Makes sense.
We didn't need to bring in, golf maintenance people.
A maintenance crew, yeah.
Because that in itself is like, handling a baby,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They'd have to be there. They'd have to live there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, I had, I think 5 full-time landscape maintenance guys that I would go visit every other month and help train them and created a maintenance manual for them. I tried to create a manual so that if anyone walking off the street opened it up, they would know what to do on Monday. They would know what to do on Tuesday. They would know what to do on Wednesday. And so we split the island into 5 sections, and each guy was responsible for their section. And
how long did that last? Does it still have to be upkept? I mean,
oh yeah,
really?
As you know, maintenance never ends.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Bahamas we consider harsh conditions.
Really?
Wind, salt. I mean, you can't get away from the salt.
So that'll take it. So that factors into all the kind of plants you put out there.
Correct.
I mean,
I talked a little bit on the panel about hurricanes. I mean, you got harsh storm conditions. In the winter months, there's high winds to deal with for days. So when the wind's blowing 25 knots for 30 days, that's going to dry out your material.
Yeah.
So you got to know when to overwater. You got to know,
So I'm assuming there's irrigation all in the.
Well,
or how did you do that? Because water was such an issue.
Yeah, we don't have irrigation on the island. Everything's hand done.
Wow.
So where we do have water source hose bibs throughout the island, and I tried to initiate putting in drip irrigation, but the owner and the management team just said we'll do it by hand. And I fought tooth and nail because hand watering is so inefficient. You lose a lot of water. A guy holding the hose is not going to give the same amount of water to each plant.
He's scrolling on his phone while he's switching between plants.
Yeah, one tree's going to get 10 gallons, the other tree's going to get 30, and then the next tree's going to get 5, and it's not a consistent across the board. So I was really trying to strive and use drip irrigation and whatnot, which is a challenge in itself with RO water. Those two don't like to work together.
Yeah.
To this day, they still hand water. And
have you been? When was this? When did you complete the project?
So I started designing and being on board around 2009. I think we finished 2011 and 12, and probably for the next 5 or 6 years after that, till about 2016, 17, I was visiting probably 5 or 6 times a year.
Just to keep up, keep an eye on things.
Yeah, I would just show up for a couple days and just walk around. And again, you got to have that eye. If you have a pest problem, you got to be able to identify it and handle it before it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
if trees are dying for some reason, someone needs to know why and correct it before it's too late. So I would, and again, I would even defer to professionals that do lab analysis. I would bring guys out that grew these trees and say, look, here's what's happening. What do we do to rectify it? So I was kind of like that point man to be in charge of, hey, the project may be done, but I'm still responsible for the upkeep and making it look,
the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, because when the owner wasn't there, he would charter it out to private people. So we had celebs, we had high-profile companies come and do retreats there. It would handle up to 28 guests at a time, and when the island was chartered out, they would fly in service people, chefs, masseuse, servers, bartenders, fitness people, yoga people, on top of the local people that would be on staff for the island.
So do they keep staff year round, like locals?
Yeah, there'd be 20 to 30 guys living there full time, and there's still guys I worked with 10 years ago that are still there. Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that do you get to go back now? Do you?
I can visit if I'm in the area.
Yeah.
I was there last year.
Yeah.
Just for a couple hours, just to do a walkthrough. You can visit the island. It's got a website. It's www.overyonderkey.com.
Okay.
I recommend checking it out.
Yeah. That sounds really cool.
It's pretty fascinating. It's not only just shows you the island, but it shows you all the activities that are involved.
Yeah.
They'll take you out fishing, diving, any type of water sport you want, from wave runners to kite boards and, paddle boards and, a lot of water activities that you expect to have in that type of location. A lot of great fishing offshore.
Yeah.
Golf. Like I said, we had a tennis court, volleyball court, so it's
the golf course. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
like I said,
insane.
you got to check the website out because it's just one of those. And I think they might even have some pricing for it, but it's not for the average Joe. It's it's a little pricey.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, for the week, it's over 6 figures, so you do the math. But
my goodness.
So
that's insane. Well, that is too cool, man. What is your why behind doing what you do?
Well, like I said, I'm passionate about botanics, and my passion is creating places for people to come, visit, live, and enjoy. And, it's just like being an architect or a builder, building a home, a hotel, or, even a commercial building. This is where people go and live or work or whatnot. And so when I get asked to be part of a project, I try to do as much research as I can. I try to think about how can I create this space. I'm in charge of this land. I mean, there's only so much land on this earth that we have.
Yeah.
And so my responsibility is also to try and be as environmentally friendly as I can.
Yeah.
You got to, obviously think about maintenance even after you're done. Who's going to take care of it? So when I take on a project, it's my passion to just try to make it the best that it can be and that other people can enjoy.
Yeah. So are you striving to do another project like that? Like, what are you doing right now? Do y'all?
Like I said, we just landed a project, a 25-acre resort project in the Turks and Caicos that we're starting immediately. I have a marina project under construction in Exuma, Bahamas.
So is this like y'all's niche now? Like y'all are pretty much... Are you almost solely working down there?
I'd say about 50% of my work is throughout the Caribbean and Bahamas. We're actually doing some work in Asia right now. We're doing a couple zoos in India through some collaboration of some other friends that I've worked with in the past.
Holy cow!
So we've kind of broadened our brush a little bit, and then around South Florida, just the typical. Residential. I enjoy doing a lot of residential because it's.
So y'all still do residential stuff?
Oh yeah, we're doing residential at home. A lot of these multi-use developments in the islands they got a hotel component. They have a condo component. There's a marina, and there's even private homes and villas. Mm-hmm. And so we get asked to look at every piece of dirt, on that property.
Yeah.
So we're we're looking to start some new work down in Barbuda and Antigua later in the year. That's coming on the boards, and we've been asked by even like Sandals to possibly look at helping them out with some renovation work for all their resorts. We haven't landed it yet, but we're still in communication with them. It may or may not go. Who knows? But it's just that's kind of our backyard, and we kind of now we've learned throughout the years on how things work, and so. Do
y'all have a website that we could look at?
Yeah, it's www.landform-design.com.
Cool. You have like portfolio and all that on there?
We have a portfolio on there, and it's got myself and my partner, Randy Hoffacker, and it talks a little bit about what we do, and it shows a lot of the projects that we've worked on.
Yeah.
And, some of it's master planning. There's a lot of work that we get involved with that never gets built. And there's a lot of reasons behind that, whether it's economics or not enough investor involvement. So, there's a lot of processes initially that we get brought into, but there's sometimes that things just never makes it to the drawing board.
How many employees do y'all have?
Right now we're just two designers, but we
just sub out.
We sub out a lot of CAD work. We have guys overseas that we send out in the afternoons that here's what's done, and when we get back the next morning, it's on our email, and we just kind of incorporate that with what we're doing. So.
And then y'all sub out the actual. So are y'all like a GC?
We're not a GC. We're strictly landscape architects and designers, but a lot of the work we do in the islands, we're boots on the ground. Yeah, and then I've got guys that work for us part-time and pull in. So, and I had a few employees in the past, but it was just a lot of work to manage it. And with me being gone a lot, I didn't have time to.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's like babysitting.
Yeah.
But unless there's someone there, as my dad used to say, it's like a one-man band, and if you step off the stage, the music stops. So, but I enjoy just staying small and trying to be able to select what we do.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, where can somebody, if they want to, I know there's guys out that are listening that have bigger design build companies, and they're like, maybe want to get to this level. How can they connect or hear from more about you? I mean, maybe ask questions or Instagram or something like Facebook.
Well,
LinkedIn.
They can always, get a hold of me, and I'm always happy to talk to anyone about, for them kind of get themselves to the next level.
Yeah.
Again, I told you when I was younger, I was a hustler, and I wasn't afraid to pick up the phone. So I would call people and ask questions and say, "Look, I'd like to throw my ring in the hat. How do I do this?"
Yeah,
and that even happens today.
Yeah, always trying to be better.
Yeah, it's just trying to from one project to the next. Do the next best thing.
Yeah, I hear you. So can they reach you on the website? What is the best way to get in touch with you?
I would say email me or call me.
Okay.
Yeah, my number is 954-461-6191. It's Malcolm Miller at Landform Design Group. Or they can send me an email at Malcom@Landform.
Email.
Yeah, Malcom@Landform-design.com.
Email, guys.
Email's best.
Email. Don't blow up Malcolm's phone. Be respectful of his time.
Exactly.
Email, and he will get back to you when his schedule allows.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the best way to do it. That's awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate your time. We're over here. I don't want to hold you much longer, but I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us today. And thanks for everybody tuning in and listening. If you enjoyed it, leave us a big 5-star rating and review. Those help us. And without any further ado, that's going to wrap this one up. And we look forward to catching up with everybody here on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.